90 degrees. First and foremost, to be able to find the value of x and y, I want to play around this triangle. I want to play around this triangle such that I will first of all find the distance between these 2 points. Let's say the distance is distance d, and there is a relationship in a Cartesian coordinate system. The distance between 2 points, let me give you the formula. Let's say point P1 located as S1, Y1, and point P2 located at S2, Y2. Distance d between those 2 points is given as d. We use a Pythagoras theorem actually, will be difference in the x, the value of x, that is x2 minus s1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. Therefore d is given as square root of x2 minus s1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. So with this background in our mind, we can find the distance d along this place. So this d square is taken as, for the x, we have x minus 0 squared plus y minus this minus 1 squared. So I have my d square to be s square, because s minus 0 is x, then plus minus times minus is plus, so I have y plus 1 squared. Now we are told that the distance between point B and C is 5 units according to this place, and the length of BC is 5 units. So this BC, we are told that the length is 5 units. 5 units. So this length D is actually 5. So putting 5 here, I have 5 square is equal to s square, plus if I want to expand this, we can use a binomial theorem in expanding this. The meaning of y plus 1 square actually means y plus 1. It actually means y plus 1 square, take note of it, actually means y plus 1 bracket y plus 1. To open this one, we use this first term here to open the bracket, then we use this one to open the bracket. So using this one, we have y times the brackets, y plus 1, then this plus 1 times the bracket, y plus 1. So y times y, we have y square plus y times 1, y plus 1 times y, plus times plus is plus, 1 times 1 is 1. So we are having y square plus 2y plus 1. So that is this y square, y plus 1 square. So I can write it as y square plus 2y plus 1. If you look at this place now, 5 square is 24. So I have s square plus y square plus 2y plus 1. If you take this plus 1 to this other side, this is 25. If you take this plus 1 to this other side, this will become 24. Is equal to s square plus y square plus 2y. Taking this 24 to this other side, we are having s square plus y square plus 2y minus 24 is equal to 0. The x and y here is what we are looking for, which stand for the coordinates of x and y. So what am I going to do to get the value for my x and y? What I'm going to do is that I'll go back to this triangle and look for another relationship involving x and y. One thing I want to let us realize is this. For this line AB, this line AB, let's call the gradient there, let's call it M1. And let me call it MAB, gradient MAB. Then for this line CA, let me call the gradient of that line M, let me call it CA. You can see that the two line AB and line CA, they are at right angle to each other. And in geometry, when two lines are perpendicular, let's say line 1 is perpendicular to line 2, they are at right angle to each other. If line 1 has slope M1, and line 2 has slope M2, the relationship between them when they are perpendicular is the products of this slope or gradient must be equal to -1. Another scenario is if the two lines are parallel to each other. Let's say this is line 1 and let's say this is line 2, and line 1 has gradient m1, line 2 has gradient m2. If the two lines are perpendicular, then that means that the gradient m1 must be equal to gradient m2. We should have that at the back of our mind. So with this background, we know that the relationship between these two is this: the product of those gradients, that means gradients of line CA times gradient of line AB must be equal to -1. Now I can find the gradients of line AB because I know these 2 points already. From definition of a gradient, we know that gradient AB is supposed to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So in this case, if I take this one as my x1, y1, and I take this place as my x2, y2, I can substitute this value in this relationship for the gradient, MAB. So what am I having now? MAB will now be for y2. I have a -1 there. I put -1. Then minus for y1, I have 3. Divided by for x2, I have 0. Then minus for x1, I have 2. -1 minus 3 will give us -4. -4 divided by -2. So everything leads us to 2. So that means MCA, that means gradient of line A times 2 is equal to -1. So that means gradient of line AC will now be -1 all over 2. So what am I trying? Gradient is -1 all over 2. You can use the idea of this gradient to connect these 2 points together. Now let's move down to this place. This -1 over 2, I will use the gradient formula also. Let me call this one my x1, y1, and I call this place as my x2, y2. So gradient is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1, and my y2 here is 3 minus my y1 is y, divided by my x2 here is 2, then minus my x1 here is x. So I now have -1 divided by 2 is equal to 3 minus y all over 2 minus x. What I have here is the equation of line CA or AC. This line CA or AC, that's the equation. Now rearranging this equation, I can cross multiply. So -1 times 2 give us -2, minus times minus give us plus x. Then I can use this 2 to multiply this place. That's 2 brackets 3 minus y. Opening that bracket, we have 6 minus 2 times y, that is 2y. I have -2 plus x is equal to that. Now I want to make x or the formula. The reason why I'm doing that is that I want to substitute inside this equation so that I will have only variable y in this equation, and by solving for variable y, then I can come back and solve for variable x. So now let me make x or the formula here. The x now, by the time you carry -2 to that side, become plus. So 6 plus 2 will give us 8. So that is 8 minus 2y. So in a nutshell, we are going to substitute x is equal to 8 minus 2y into this relationship. Let me do my substitution. X squared means the whole of this place squared. So I have 8 minus 2y, everything squared. Then plus y squared plus 2y minus 24 is equal to 0. If you look at this particular expansion, it means this one multiplied by itself. I would rather do it gradually so that I don't make mistakes. So what am I going to do here? For this 8 minus 2y, I'll write it as 8 minus 2y multiplied by itself because of this squared. I'll write it as 8 minus 2y again, then plus y squared plus 2y minus 24 is equal to 0. Now we use this 8 to multiply everything here. 8 times 8 gives us 64. 8 times minus 2y gives us minus 16y. minus 2y times 8 will give us minus 16y again. Minus times minus give us plus. 2y times 2y will give us 4y squared. Then combine with this, that is plus y squared plus 2y minus 24 is equal to 0. Now if you look at this, these are like terms that can be combined together. This particular one, they are like twins. They have a minus minus. Anytime you are having twins, just combine the number together. So we are having 64 minus 32y. Then this 4y squared plus y squared, they are like terms. So 4y squared plus y squared will give us plus 5y squared. Then plus 2y minus 24 is equal to 0. Now we can combine 64 and minus 24. 64 take away minus 24 will give us 40. So I want to rearrange this equation. I will rather go, let me arrange this equation here. 64 take away 24, that gives us 40. So I have a 40 minus now this minus 32y plus 2y will give us minus 30 minus 30y, then plus 5y squared is equal to 0. Now let me write this equation here again. 5y squared minus 30y plus 40 is equal to 0. Now I can reduce this equation to simplest form by dividing both sides by 5 throughout. So 5 divided by this will give us y squared minus 30y divided by 5 will give us minus 6 5 in 30, that's 6y. Then plus 5 in 40 will give us 8 is equal to 0. By factorizing this quadratic equation, two things we multiply together to give us minus 6y, and then we add them together to give us a plus 8. Those two things we are multiplying are 4 and 2. So I put minus there, minus there. Minus times minus will give me this plus. 4 times will give me 8. Then when I combine the two without these times, I have this minus 4 minus 2 to give me this minus 6. So this equation can now be rewritten in this format. Y squared, instead of this minus 6y, I would rather put this minus 4y minus 2y to make up this minus 6y. Then plus that 8 is equal to 0. Here y is common, so I factorize y out. So I have a y minus 4. The same thing here, I have minus 2 bracket y minus 4 is equal to 0. So in this scenario, we know that y minus 2 bracket y minus 4, everything must be equal to 0. The reason being that y minus 4 is common, so we factorize it out, we are left with y minus 2. That's why I'm having this. So when you are multiplying two factors and they give you 0, it's either one of them is 0, and so that particular idea lead us to the value of y to be 2 or y to be 4. Now this particular place, remember that we have the value for expression for y when I make x subject of the formula the other time. I think I had the equation that we made x the subject of formula the other time. Okay. Now we can substitute for when y is 2 and when y is 4. So when y is 2, my x will now be in this equation. Let me write it as minus 2y plus 8. So when y is 2, we have x is equal to minus 2 times 2 plus 8. So minus 2 times 2 give us minus 4 plus 8. Minus 4 plus 8 will give us plus 4. So in a nutshell, for the point C, when point C is x, y, which is the value of 4 and 2. So that means my C has coordinates C1 as 4 and 2. Now when y is equal to 4, I will substitute here again. The x, when y is equal to 4, substitute it here. I have my x to be minus 2 bracket 4 plus 8. And minus 2 times 4 is minus 8 plus 8. and this one give us a 0. So your x is equal to 0. So that means I'm having another coordinate for the point C to be sy, which is a 0 and then 4. So in a nutshell, this point C that we have here has two locations. One of the locations is the coordinates 4, 2 and the coordinate 0, 4 on the Cartesian coordinate system. So if I want to plot those coordinates for the when the coordinate is C1, when the point is C1, coordinate is 4, 2. So that means the value of x is 4 and the value of y is 2. So let me say the value of y is 2 and the x is 4. When you trace these 2 points, we have the location for C1. Now, for this C2, when x is 0 and when y is 4. So when x is 0 will be here, and when y is plus 4 will be somewhere here. So the location for another location for this coordinate C is also 0, 4. So the C, this particular C, may be located, may be an intercept on the y-axis, or may be somewhere on the positive side of the quadrant of the Cartesian coordinate. Much for listening to my video, but please, before we go, kindly remember to subscribe, share, make a comment and like my video. Once again, this is Physics Mathematics Fundamental on YouTube. My name is Orekoya Olusegun. Bye.